本节目由换个姿势看电竞的超神电竞 APP 赞助播出，苹果用户快去 App Store 下载哦。
What is up, fighters? Today we're looking at the top 10 split pushing champions in the game. This is based on how good they are at just sitting in a lane and winning the game entirely by split pushing. It is my opinion, but as always backed up with some research and stats. For this video, comment with who you think should be here and why to be featured in my next top 10. So I think there are 3 different tiers of split pushing. So we're going to kick this off with one in our 3rd tier at number 10 with Irelia. This 10th spot has had like 4 or 5 different champions in it before I settled on Irelia, and the way we want to think about it is she's kind of like a mini Jax. You build pretty much the same, you scale really well into the game, you take towers quickly and do a lot of damage so you can easily 1v1 anyone who tries to stop you. Stat wise, there are a few things that all of these champions have in common. Basically, the later the game goes, the higher their win rate becomes, and the more games you play to them, the higher it is. When I was doing my research and stuff, this mainly seems to be because split pushing takes some getting used to, so you need some champion experience, and it does become more effective the later the game goes. For Irelia specifically, there are a bunch of different Irelia builds, honestly, right? You can build a few damage items and then build defensively for team fights, but if you build her attack speed heavy with like a Ginju's and stuff, then she can really pack a punch onto towers. An Irelia who gets ahead especially will dive you constantly, and you'll need more than one person to stop her pushing, which does make her a very good split pusher. We're going to leave Irelia in our shadow here and move on to one of the harder people to stop pushing on this list. Unlike others here that just take towers really quickly, Zed would prefer to kill you first and take towers later. He is great in a 1v1. He's an assassin, that's kind of what he does, right? And especially if he's ahead, he'll most likely just dive you over and over. It's hard to deal with because you really need to send someone else to help, at which point he'll just shadow away and the rest of your team has a 4v3. This is one pick that doesn't want to TP into fights. He doesn't really care about the rest of the map. His job is to kill whoever is trying to stop him and take towers. With the Ghost Blade active, like the attack speed active, and the stupid amount of AD he builds, he can take towers so fast and way before most people can react. From one ninja to another one, next up is probably the most famous split pushing champion. Shen is not your typical split pusher. Sure, he'll take towers eventually, but that's not really the end goal, I guess. The others on here all take towers really fast. The idea is that if you leave anyone on this list alone in a lane, then your tower count will go down very quickly. With Shen, there is like virtually no risk split pushing at all. Either you get a tower or you just ult into team fights. Normally there is a trade-off to split push, like you're not with your team, but Shen doesn't have that. Basically, Shen forces the enemy team to do something. You're going to take towers eventually, so they have to make a move, and if they do, then you'll just ult down anyway. So for number 7, we're moving on to the next tier of champions, and we're going to start with Fiora. We're getting into the unstoppable territory now. If Fiora gets rolling, you are going to have a really bad day. She is very mobile with her lunge anyway, so she can like escape if people come to stop her, but if they don't come, then she will destroy towers and the person trying to defend it. She is amazing 1v1 anyway, right? That's one of the biggest things about Fiora. She has that heal, her riposte, and a crap ton of damage, so she can easily dive someone. This is the problem when facing a split pushing Fiora. If you're behind, then she will dive you. She will take towers and you have to send 2 or 3 people to stop her, at which point the rest of your team can take something. The silly amount of AD that she builds, her attack speed buff, which is also an auto reset by the way, can make short work of towers, and she doesn't need to be alone for long to get something out of it. So that last point is exactly why number 6 is here. Master Yi is one of the fastest pushers in the game. He doesn't really have the same kind of threat, I guess, like it's harder to dive someone as Yi and just become unstoppable, but if you give him a few seconds alone with your tower, then it's gone. His ultimate gives him a ton of attack speed, he builds loads anyway, and has a good amount of AD behind it. That ult can actually be used to get away too, like if you're just pressuring the lane and someone comes to stop you, just ult, run away, and there's nothing they can do to catch you. Right now, Master Yi is seen as someone who just runs in, right clicks, and kills everyone, right? That is one option, but this is another. If the game isn't going too well especially, then you can resort to split pushing and taking towers. It is more of a sneaky way to approach split pushing, honestly. You kind of want to rely on them not coming to stop you, like that indecisiveness, you know, where the team isn't sure what to do, and while they're still thinking or maybe recalling, you're battering their tower and it's gone before they know it. Let's kick off our top 5 now with one you probably didn't expect as much. This guy pushes so hard, it's ridiculous. He has his W, the area that gives him attack speed. He has his Q, which is an auto reset, and it even builds a good amount of AD. It's surprising how fast he can take towers, but he can also 1v1 people so well with his ultimate. If people do ever come to stop you, then you have your W to speed you up, pillar to slow them down and block them off, and even ultimate to heal you if you're really in trouble. The thing here is, like, if you leave a Trundle alone in a lane, even early into the game, he will take 1 or 2 towers at least. That is partly what makes him so good here actually, how early into the game he can start to split push and punish the enemy team. I'm talking like level 7 area here as well. Loads of the replays I watch, like, just leave this guy alone in a lane when someone TPs out and he will push like crazy. Number 4 is one of the most irritating champions in League of Legends, and yup, we're talking about Singed. This again is a different playstyle to what we've already talked about in this video. We're okay at taking towers, but it's mostly how hard it is to stop a Singed player. He'll get to the point where he's so tanky that towers basically don't exist to him anymore, like he'll just dive you over and over. He'll proxy the wave, which means that he'll take aggro and kill the wave behind your tower. That'll mean your tower takes extra minion damage again, and if no one is there to stop him, then he'll just auto it to death. You'll notice I haven't included much about ZZ Rot or Banner in this video, even though those two items are amazing at split pushing, and that's mainly because I want to base this video on the champions themselves, not items. Singed is a great split pusher anyway, but he's made even better with Banner and ZZ Rot. Even just ZZ Rot makes this guy 10 times better at taking towers, but especially that Banner as well is just insane. So we've already established he's good at pushing, right? But what about if you try and stop him? He'll honestly just run away, like even maybe use his ultimate for the burst and move speed, plus like if you go to stop him and actually try to fight him, he'll just run away and poison you as you chase. Like there's really little you can do to stop him. So top 3 time now, and this is taking us into our last top tier of champions that split push. Nasus is going to kick us off here. He's pretty iconic. When you think about split pushing, you think of this oversized dog. Nasus is so hard to deal with because he's so tanky while doing a huge amount of damage to towers. Like it's actually really hard to kill him. Where other champions on this list will probably dive you first, kill you, get you out of the way, and then push, Nasus will probably just ignore you, let you hit him and tickle him and kill your tower until it dies. There is 2 sides to him that make him the top 3 though. So first you have this thing where you can't stop him, like he'll ignore you and take your towers anyway. The other side is that even if you group elsewhere on the map and you try to snowball the game, he'll take your towers so fast because of his Q. Then you throw in a ZZ Rot, maybe a Banner, but probably actually not. Even just ZZ Rot will make you push so quickly and makes you even more difficult to deal with. When someone comes to stop you, you can wither, ult, and just run away, or just ignore them all and take the tower anyway. Towers are like minions to him, and that's why he's an amazing split pusher. Our runner-up spot is going to be Tryndamere. A big reason why he's above Nasus is actually because he can start to do this a lot earlier into the game. Nasus revolves around his key mechanics stacking up, right? But Trynd just needs a few items and off he goes. He hits like this critical mass, I guess, of being unstoppable a lot earlier into the game, which in many ways makes him even harder to deal with. He'll dive you earlier because he can ult and survive. He'll take towers earlier by stacking some attack speed and just spin away if you ever try to stop him. Even if you do shut him down early, he can still take towers and there isn't much you can do to stop him. Actually, okay, you can stop him, right, and force him away, but as soon as you leave the lane, he pushes so fast your tower will just disappear. This is one pick whose kind of whole job or role in League is to basically split push, and he does that job very well. If someone TPs bot or groups with their team, you will punish them, you'll take towers and even inhibs before they can really do anything at all. Okay, so number 1, I know he gets loads of stick, right, but just hear me out. This little bugger Teemo is an amazing split pusher. Actually, you can't even do this, so come on, next clip. Okay, so Jax is our real number 1, and I wonder how many of you guys actually raged at me right there. Darshan on CLG keeps showing us why this guy is an amazing split pusher. Again, he reaches this point where you cannot stop him because he just takes towers way faster than anyone else thanks to his passive. Your passive gives you stacking attack speed, and yes, it stacks on towers. Even your W is an auto attack reset as well. Again, because it's a lot to do with your passive, you can start pushing way earlier into the game too, but once you get some more items, you become even better and really kick it up a gear. One of the most underrated reasons I think why he's such a good split pusher, just like Nasus, is because it forces your opponents to do something to stop you. If they don't, they're going to just lose the game eventually to your pushing and them having no way to stop you. Let's be honest, right? All this stuff makes him great anyway, but the real reason he's the best is just because of how fast and how much damage he does to towers. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this top 10. Remember to comment with who you think is the best and why to be featured in my next one. Like, Like, subscribe, comment, share, and for now, let's go to the robots.